Hello folks, Shadow Sayatom here, and this is the start of a new series on my channel called Mismatch, where I play a random game. Could be a retro game, could be a newer game, doesn't matter, and I'll be talking about a completely unrelated topic while I play. This may adversely affect my playing, but we'll see how it goes. Today's game is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. And we're going to pick Donatello. And today I'm going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super and particularly Gohan as he's represented in the series. I know a lot of people think that Gohan is largely wasted in Dragon Ball Super. I disagree. And I know Gohan doesn't take the spotlight very often, and there's not a whole lot done with him for the majority of Super. But he does have some moments that he shines, and I think one of the biggest things about Gohan and Dragon Ball Super in particular is, he is not a dedicated martial artist like his father. At his heart, he is a family man. He is a scholar. He has power. He knows how to fight, but fighting is not why he's doing his reason for being, like it is with Goku. And so that's not something that he cares a lot about. This is particularly this is shown a lot in the Resurrection F arc, where Gohan is part of the main force of protagonists fighting against Frieza's soldiers, and he has a little bit of trouble with it, even though Frieza's soldiers are, nothing. Gohan even states that he doesn't think he can maintain the Super Saiyan form for very long, whereas not too long ago he had access to the Potential Unleashed form, or Elder Kai Unlocked form, or Mystic form, or Ultimate Gohan, whatever you want to call it. And now that's completely gone to the wayside. I did like his portrayal better in the ROF movie than in Dragon Ball Super. Just because in Dragon Ball Super, they really hammered home more than what seemed necessary the fact that Gohan was not a great fighter anymore. Although the one thing that I think the ROF arc and Super did do well with Gohan was you got a lot of Gohan in the arc and Super. There are a lot of episodes with Gohan involved, and he did have a nice moment in the ROF arc when he's fighting Tagoma / Captain Ginyu, and once he goes Super Saiyan, that fight goes very, very, very differently. And I did like the moment where he's basically beaten down Tagoma, and he tells him, you can't win, you should give this fight up while you can, which of course enrages Frieza because it reminds him of when Goku told him a very similar speech when they fought on Namek, that you can't win, that I'm done with you, you can't win, you're not even going to challenge me anymore, you should just leave. Which of course then prompts Frieza to turn Gohan into Swiss cheese. And then we have this sort of weird moment where, let me backtrack a bit. There's a scene where Piccolo saves Gohan, typical Piccolo thing at this point, and then we have this weird moment where we have Gohan powering up, but he doesn't look good doing it. His eyes are all ghosted out, and he's raising his power so that Goku and Vegeta can lock onto him and get back to Earth from Beerus's planet. But even though he's powering up, he does not look like he's in fighting shape. He's raising all this power, but it doesn't look like it's a very unusual power up, because he doesn't look like he's going to be fighting or kicking ass or anything. He looks very haunted while he's powering up this way. And, a lot of that's contributed to the fact that he's still, he's got all kinds of holes in him from where Frieza shot him up full of death beams, and he's not used to channeling that much power anymore because he hasn't been fighting. And then Goku and Vegeta arrive, save the day, and that's the end of it. But and then we don't really see Gohan again in Dragon Ball Super doing much of anything almost until there was a brief arc involving the Great Saiyaman. That was kind of a neat moment for Gohan, where they were going to put Great Saiyaman in a movie and keep him and have him portrayed by this actor instead of actual Great Saiyaman. And it's got a lot of funny moments and a lot of neat stuff with him and Videl, and he eventually does have to actually fight an alien, and Jocko gets involved, and it's a weird little storyline, but it was nice to have a kind of a Gohan-centric filler arc. And then there's also a neat fight between him and Goku later on at the end of that arc, which just goes to Gohan has not completely fallen off the tracks. Then we don't see Gohan again until the Tournament of Power prelims, where Goku takes him and Majin Buu to go fight, and we get a really nice moment of Gohan fighting I think it's Lavender or Lavinda, who is part of the Trio de Dangers from Universe 9, and we see in that fight that even though his power is not nearly the same as it used to be back in the Buu arc, we get to see that Gohan has not lost his fighting sense, so to speak. How to hold himself in a battle. And part of that too is we see there are hints that he's been training a little bit before that during the Goku Black arc. He has a very nice episode with Trunks, and Trunks sees that Gohan. This is not the same Gohan that died in his timeline. That was all about fighting and nothing else. Focus on survival. Gohan in this timeline has a family, and that's first and foremost in his mind. But then when Trunks leaves at the end of that arc, we see Gohan and Piccolo show up to wish him goodbye, and usually Gohan and Piccolo, they don't just hang out. If Gohan's Piccolo, it usually means there's some kind of training or something going on, and the fact that Gohan's breathing hard and he's sweating, flying up there, and it's implied that he's been training with Piccolo a little bit. But so we have the Tournament of Power prelim fight with Lavinda, and Gohan does pretty well for himself, especially considering he hasn't been involved in a major fight since ROF. And he, even though, in all honesty, he defeats Lavinda, it's called a draw because he also falls unconscious. He does really well. And then after the Tournament of Power gets decided, we see him train with Piccolo to try to get some of his old power back. We see him learn how to tap back into Super Saiyan 2, and then eventually his ultimate form, or Elder Kai Unlock form, Mystic form. One of those is more canonically correct than the others, and I honestly couldn't tell you which one it is off the top of my head. So for the duration of this video, we're going to call it his ultimate form. If I'm wrong about that, or if there's a more canonically correct way to put that form, please tell me in the comments. But for now, we're just going to call it Ultimate Gohan. So he learns how to tap back into his ultimate form, and he has this big training session with Piccolo. And even after he's gotten the form back, there's a cool scene where he's fighting with Piccolo. He ends up tearing off Piccolo's arm, and he apologizes for it, and then Piccolo's disembodied arm comes back and blasts Gohan in the back. Showing that Gohan still has a ways to go as far as his fighting sense and not letting his guard down, which is something that Goku is also really bad about, and Piccolo's trying to break Gohan of that bad habit. Then you get to Tournament of Power proper, and overall, I'm happy with the moments that Gohan got. I do wish that he could have, because Goku announces that Gohan's going to be the leader of the Universe 17, but you don't really get to see him embrace that role, which I would have liked to have seen more of. As a leader, you would think that he would have more going on. There's more strategies and team up attacks, and I would have thought that he would have embraced that a little more. But that being said, he does have some good moments. He has a fight with the Universe 10 fighter whose name escapes me, but he could trick Gohan's key sense so that he couldn't tell exactly which one where he was when he was fighting, and that gives Gohan a little bit of problems. But then Gohan does figure it out, and he's able to devise a strategy and end up defeating the guy. And then you have a moment where Universe 10 gets erased, and Gohan has a brief moment of composure. His composure fails, and then he gets right back to it. And I liked that because it showed that Gohan knew how serious this was. It feels bad that all these people in the universe, they have families too, and he's a family man himself. But this is about survival. This is about making sure that his family still is safe. And then we don't see much of Gohan after that until there's a little part with him and Piccolo where they're fighting the invisible sniper, and they start off at the beginning of that episode, and then Tien sort of takes over at the second half of that episode. But it was nice seeing Gohan and Piccolo team up, and you get a couple of those throughout the Tournament of Power. Although it is interesting to note that it's hard to tell just how powerful Gohan has become. Because we see before the Tournament of Power starts, Gohan, takes on Goku, and him and Goku are fairly evenly matched when Goku's in Super Saiyan 2. But even then, it seemed like Goku had a slight edge, mostly due to instant transmission. But then Gohan's telling him, fight me at full power, and I'm not sure exactly how Gohan measures up to, Goku Super Saiyan Blue at that time. And then later on, then at the end of the fight, Goku even goes Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. And when he does that, Gohan gets a smile on his face. And I thought for sure Gohan had some crazy strategy to take advantage of the fact that Goku was in Kaioken. But no, he doesn't. He just, they cross fists, and it's a great looking moment, don't get me wrong. But then he just passes out. And, as great as that episode was, it kind of disappointed me a little bit that there was not a deeper strategy there. Because one of the things that you see in his fight with Lavinda earlier is Gohan developing strategy on the fly, maybe very cerebral in how he fights, and you don't get to see a whole lot of that later. There's a few moments of it. There's when he figures out against the Universe 10 fighter how to counteract his ability, and then when he's fighting against Dispo with Frieza, he figures out pretty quickly that you need how to counteract Dispo's speed. But he doesn't. I really wish they could have let him embrace the leader role more, actually leading some of the other Z fighters against the other universes. But sadly, we didn't get to see a whole lot of that. And then there's also the issue with his elimination against Dispo. That felt a little rushed, and that being rushed doesn't really have so much to do with Gohan's character as it does the fact that they're rushing Super, entirely. But going out against Dispo that way, the elimination itself didn't feel bad. It just felt bad that Gohan did not get a bigger role in this, because they were kind of, when they were training for the Tournament of Power, they hyped up Gohan pretty well. They're making him the leader of the team. Goku saying he's leader of the team and everything, and then for Gohan not to have a role to play in the finale of things is kind of disappointing. But overall, I can't say that I was too terribly disappointed with how Gohan was handled in Dragon Ball Super. He got his badass moments. He got his, you see, Gohan as just a regular guy, to, being a dad to his daughter and a husband to his wife. And, I would say that Gohan is definitely one of the more balanced of the Z fighters as far as his actual life. He has a career. He has a family. He, outside of all of these situations threatening the Earth and and all of that, he has a life to go back to. Whereas Goku and Vegeta, although Vegeta more so than Goku, but Vegeta has established himself more as a family man than Goku, as far as things to look forward to outside of fighting. But I think Gohan definitely takes the cake there. And I've been trying my best to not completely suck at turtles here, and I'm kind of sort of doing okay, but I'm down to 1 life, and I'm only in the 2nd stage. A lot of people say, still say that Teen Gohan from Cell Saga, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is still their favorite Gohan, and I get that, because he was a complete badass and did a lot of badass things. But ultimately, being that badass is not at the core of Gohan's character. Gohan has never been the, fight first mentality kind of guy. Gohan has always preferred, peace. He's always preferred being able to not fight when he could. And even the events of Cell Saga didn't change that. And we see in Super, and more often than not, Gohan fights when he has to, but it's not his go-to. And I think some people resent Gohan for that. But I think if you're not comfortable with Gohan being a family first guy or civilian life first guy, then you're kind of missing the essence of who Gohan is. Could he have more badass moments and powered up moments? Sure, but at the end of the day, I really think that Gohan has more to offer as a character than just powering up and beating the bad guys. That's more Goku's thing. I think Gohan brings more to the table than that. And let me know in the comments how you feel about how Gohan's been treated in Dragon Ball Super as a whole. If you agree or disagree with anything I've said here, I will respond to comments as I can. And I'm going to play through the end. We'll try to get to the end of this level in Turtles. I haven't played this particular Turtles game in a very long time, and it's showing. Hyperzone Heist is actually one of my favorites, but now... Oh, I thought this guy was toast. Yep, these regular dudes are just destroying me. There we go. I'm pretty sure I'm close to a boss fight here, and then in the video there at that boss fight. Actually, what I think I'll do, I'll put a poll in this video over which Gohan you prefer. Do you prefer, super badass, Gohan, or do you prefer the family values Gohan, so to speak? I think the problem with Cell Saga Gohan, or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, is that it's just, he is uh, with him beating Cell, if he would have continued training, like that, it would have just been Goku all over again. I think him being more of a cerebral character and a family values character gives him a separation from Goku that is really necessary. Would it be nice if he had kept up to par with the other characters? Sure, of course it would be, but that's just not who he is, not anymore. Somehow with a wooden staff, oh my goodness. Somehow with a wooden staff, I am defeating these guys made of rocks? Question mark. They look like they're made of rocks. They look like the thing from Fantastic Four covered in covered in rocks, as if they had little helmets on. Okay, this is taking a little longer than I would like, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you everybody for watching, and as I always say, long days and pleasant nights.